Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. This is Raj here. Friends, I would like to take you to our dashboard. And today we are looking at our fear and greed index, which has gone into greed. So everyone in the stock market is getting greedy. I don't know whether it's a good thing or not, but I'm a little bit skeptical about the market and I'll explain why. Then I have this image of Trump and his group of people looking admiringly while he talks about the UK trade deal. But the bottom line, as this article says, is clearly that 10% tariffs are here to stay, whether the other country has got any tariffs or not. UK had only 1% tariff, and the biggest example is Singapore. It has zero tariffs, but it has been levied 10% tariff by US. So what does that mean? It basically means, in my opinion, it means that everyone in the US is assured of at least a 10% increase in price and also the resultant suppression of employment, and that could potentially push them into recession. That's my personal opinion. And even for us to reach to the plain vanilla 10%, it's going to take some period of uncertainty. The biggest trading partner for US is China, and they need to cut a deal with China. Even India, for that matter, doesn't account for much of US trade. UK accounts only for 2%. So I don't know what the big deal is. You can do a whole lot of theatrics, but I think Wall Street is smart and Wall Street might wisen up to that. And yesterday's jump basically might have been some kind of expectation about breaking the ice with China. So we'll have to watch what happens on Saturday. Anybody who is holding positions Friday evening is going to be very worried about what could come out, either from the meeting on Saturday or from the White House in form of a tweet. So there's a high level of risk, in my opinion, during the weekend. That said, I think even the London markets were not happy with the US-UK deal because it was not at all of any advantage to UK, in my opinion. Their deficit went up further, the projected deficit after this deal. And US-UK deal, good news, but tariffs still higher. That's what the Bank of England governor was saying. And because UK had the Brexit and they were desperate for partners to deal with and to stabilize their economy, they already signed a free trade deal with India and sacrificing a little bit to get a deal with US so that they can show that they have these deals in place and then sign up deals with others would be much easier. So that was the motivation, I think, from the point of view of UK. But because they are out of EU, now they have to balance their orders of 71 long-haul jets between Airbus and Boeing so that they can keep both EU and the US in their good books. So that's the kind of compromise UK had to do. I don't think UK deal means anything big because it was a country in need for a trade deal and they got a trade deal. That's about it. I think the Prime Minister of UK is going to have a tough time if he doesn't sign up more deals. Because if he signs up more deals, he can say that it was a little bit of give and take here and there, and getting US on board as a trade partner would have got them more deals. So he has to prove it to the public out there, or else his days would be numbered. That's my feeling. Now, Fed's Barr says that tariffs will boost inflation, slow growth later this year. We are already halfway through the year. Later this year means in the next 6 months. So there's a lot of immediacy to the potential for a downturn. China's exports surge as shipments to Southeast Asian countries offset plunge in US trade. I don't know if my short video on China was seen by many people. If not, just go and have a look at it, where I was looking at Asian media sources where they are saying that China was kind of shipping its goods to Vietnam and South Korea and then labeling them as made in Vietnam or South Korea and exporting it to US to avoid the tariffs, and those countries seem to be cracking down. That's what those media were saying just check that out. I don't know if this export surge of shipments to Southeast Asia is validating it, or it's something else. But they seem almost similar. You export to Southeast Asia and Southeast Asia exports them to US. Is it that way, or is just China exporting to Southeast Asian countries and they consuming it locally? I don't know what it is. So I'm going to just put it out there for you to make your own decision. NVIDIA modifies Hedge 20 chips for China to overcome US export controls. This is going to help NVIDIA, in my opinion. I would look at NVIDIA shares trying to break through a critical resistance and starting to resume its move upward. Of course, the tariff regime is still going to be a big deal for NVIDIA, and that will kind of dampen the enthusiasm to a certain extent. Trump team seems to seek tariff cuts, rare earth relief in China talks. That's the headline that I'm seeing out here. Of course, rare earths are something, the way I understand it, is that they're available everywhere. It's rare because the process of extracting them from a bulk quantity, because their concentration is little less, and there's a process for extracting them, and that I think China specializes in, and therefore that could be the reason why rare earths are a specialty for China, but other countries can also perfect that later on. So let us see what happens on Saturday. There is no point speculating, but I'm going to err on the side of caution, because if I go in and buy anticipating something good is going to come out and it doesn't happen, and then the price starts falling, the fall would be steep. So I personally am very careful. Merz, who is the new chancellor of Germany, has warned Trump that he can't do side deals with EU nations on trade. Because imagine if Germany was to do a side deal with California, then what's the point of having United States and what's the point of having EU? So that's a reality check. And knowing Trump would try to do whatever he can, like trying to do a deal with Orban in Hungary. So he might try to do some of those things, and this is the warning against that. So we'll see what happens, and all those things will have a bearing on the market. So with that said, I would like to point out that all the indices are looking positive. Oil has also gained a little bit, which would be a relief for shale producers and also for our local folks in Alberta. And the 10-year yield has started inching up 0.01% already. Basically, the market doesn't seem to have taken this UK deal as something significant. Now, with that said, let's go on and have a look at our charts. And I'm going to start with the futures. And when we look at the futures out here, let me just have a look at the chat also at this point of time. And Hot Dog says, I think the lifting of chip restrictions may be an interesting carrot for China. Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. Yeah, that could be a good possibility. Yes, for sure. So let's go and have a look at the futures, and the futures are here. S&P 500 futures mildly up. Again, our minor line of resistance has been holding for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in the recent past. And also it has been active from, I would say, 28th of March, 2025. So it's proving itself. Let us see if we are able to break it today. So today, our minor line of resistance says that S&P futures can face some resistance at 5717.25. If they break above that, then we have a minor line of resistance at 5835.50. Support continues to be at 5641.25. Now, I would like to look at NASDAQ. And NASDAQ seems to show that support continues to be at 19,765.75, and resistance will continue to be at 20,643.75 for today. And our MACD and momentum are showing that the momentum is a bit flat and MACD is moving towards the signal line. So I think we are at an inflection point. The market has to decide whether all the show business that Trump did with UK trade deal is the real McCoy, or is the market going to say, yeah, it's a nothing burger, we want something bigger, and it starts to come down. So we are at an inflection point at this stage, And especially if you look at the S&P 500, I think we are at an inflection point. And if we start coming down and our supports don't hold, then there's a long way to go down. MACD in both cases is showing that it's moving towards the signal line, and that's not a very positive thing. So let us be careful today. That's my opinion. 100.39 is where dollar index is, and our minor line of resistance continues to be the minor line of resistance for today, and our support is going to be at 99.264. And then I'm looking at the 10-year yield. 10-year yield is inching upwards. The day is young. We'll have to see what happens. But we had this bull flag, which has given us a target of 4.754. So we are moving towards that. And also, I can't but help think that potentially we are forming a reverse head and shoulder pattern. And if this pattern fructifies, that will also further solidify the target that we have out here of 4.748, and potentially it will take us closer to the resistance of 4.80. MACD is bullish and momentum is also picking up. So that's where we leave that. And with that in place, let's go and look at indicator and see where the S&P 500 was left yesterday. Our diagonal line of resistance out here has been very active, and it has held up for us for the last 3 days out here. And yesterday also we had a very range bound trade, and I think that bump came because the market was trying to digest the UK trade news. And today we will see whether the market actually believed it or not. If it did not believe it, then we'll still have resistance at 5,686.88, and we have support at around 5,580.98. MACD is tending towards the signal line, so that's the signal that I'm looking at, saying that there is a little bit of weakening of the sentiment out there. Nasdaq also traded on a very narrow range. Our minor line of resistance at 20,355 continues to be the same for today, and our minor line of support at 19,878.69 is still active today. Yesterday was a very minor body of candle, and there was a huge range in which we went through. The market probably has digested the news, and I think the verdict is that it's not a big deal. We need some traction on tariffs. It has been more than a month since the 90-day postponement was announced. So if Trump comes back and says that he's going to postpone it by another 90 days, then the saga will continue, and we are going to suffer this choppiness for another period of time. So let us see what happens when the market opens, but I'm quite bearish overall. QQQ also betrays the same sentiment. And then we have the resistance continuing to be 492.23 and support continuing to be 484.79. Maybe we'll stay range bound within this for a few days before deciding to come down if there are no stimulus. VIX is down 0.89%. VIX is saying there's a bit of calm out here, but as you can see, the MACD is inching towards the signal line to cross over to the bullish side. Momentum is below average. So I think overall, this could be a place for, maybe we are heading into a place where day traders and maybe swing traders could have a much better opportunity. Put call ratio is at 0.81, which indicates that we are quite bullish on the put call ratio side. Gold is starting to pick up again, and it's going to move back up towards the minor line of resistance of 3425.79. And I think something interesting is happening on the crypto space. Let us go to crypto briefly, a very brief detour before I go further. We go to crypto. Where is my crypto? Currencies. Let us go to currencies. BTC USD is what I want to look at. Bitcoin has broken above the psychological 100,000 level, and now it is time to start looking at crypto. I think that we have another minor line of resistance. Sorry, not minor line of resistance, a proper resistance out here at 106,000. And I think that we are going to be moving towards 106. And also I am seeing that there is a little bit of departure from the stock market for Bitcoin. And that's the reason why we have reached where we have at this point of time. And I want to venture to put a pattern out here and see if the pattern fits. So if we make this as a cup, and you have a handle, the cup and handle pattern has been triggered, in my opinion. And I would say that we would have a target of around, let me take this up here and move this to this spot. I would say that Bitcoin has a potential of going all the way up to 118.93. And I have IBIT, I'm holding it. It's now profitable again. And I want to see how it goes. And this is what I have for Bitcoin. There's another one that I'm very interested in, which is called Ripple. I have started looking at XRP right now. XRP is being used for exchange of money. I think Reserve Bank of India is using for it as a parallel test to see how it goes. And if things succeed, then Ripple could become probably the backbone, and the huge wire transfer costs that we are paying right now will come down significantly. That's the business case for Ripple from all that I have read so far. I'm still learning more about Ripple, but I'm becoming bullish on Ripple, and I might go ahead and actually start using my crypto wallet and buy Ripple, and maybe a small quantity to start with, and start dollar cost averaging into Ripple, because we are broken out of the bear channel and we are moving upwards. So I think this would be a good chance to get into Ripple in a entry level. So with that said, I want to go and look at AI. We did the indicators. I think we did the indicators. Let us see. S&P 500. Yeah, the indicators show that we left S&P 500 just below this diagonal line of resistance, which continues to be a resistance for us today at 5,684.80. And our support for today is 5591 for S&P 500. And I can again see MACD moving downwards. So that's not a great sign. NASDAQ also was very mild. A small body yesterday. It's a doji candle indecision. Market will decide today that UK deal is a nothing burger, and potentially it might come down, but the resistance continues to be 2328.06. And when it comes down, the minor line of support is going to be 19860.72. And I'm thinking that any movement downwards is likely to be stopped by these minor line of resistance and various resistances, unless we have some bad news. QQQ is up 0.30% in pre-market trade, but still our resistance continues to be 491.58, and our support continues to be 485.01. VIX is down 0.98%, and also in the market being open right now, I think there's a tendency for VIX to keep on going down, which seems that the markets are calming down. But once the market opens and we see the reaction for the UK trade deal, I'm expecting VIX to move up again. And then I think it will probably have a pause at 28.52, or maybe somewhere around 24.85. It may take a pause. That's my prediction. And let's go on and have a look at AI. Let's look at NVDA. NVDA is up 0.18% in pre-market trades. I think all the positive news that NVIDIA has got should help to propel it further, but the realization that there is a 10% tariff, reciprocal tariff in place, and therefore the other countries which are dealing with the US might have to reciprocate to a certain extent. So those things might be weighing down on NVIDIA. But if you look at it from a very logical point of view, everyone in the world wants to use AI, and using AI, they can increase their productivity. And if they increase their productivity, their exports become cheaper, and that will help them counteract the 10% tariff. So if you take that chain of logic, I think NVIDIA is going to look very bullish, and I'm already heavily invested in NVIDIA. And I think that I'm going to hold on and wait to see NVIDIA going up. Next, I'm looking at Meta. Meta is up 0.79% in pre-market trades. Our support, a minor line of support, is going to be 601.79. Resistance is going to be 631.05. MACD is looking bullish. Momentum is also above average. Things are looking good for Meta. Google is up 0.05%. I think Google has been unfairly treated by the market. I'm sounding like Donald Trump. It's been treated very unfairly, and Google has to get some reprieve right now. I think Google results showed very clearly that it's still dominating the search business. And I was thinking about the news coming out of Apple. I read through it much more in detail after my morning live stream. It seems that Apple is talking more about what's happening with Safari, where Google search engine is not being used as much. But I don't think that's going to be a big deal because Android still commands a huge market. And also, as I said in my earlier live stream, whenever we start using Google for any kind of search, we get an AI summary first, and then we have the sponsored, and then we have the organic search. So that's the hierarchy of things that are coming in. The sponsored also gives money for Google, and the AI summary gives an opportunity for Google to take the search audience slowly into the AI realm. And once they go in there, then they will start using Gemini and other things. And even if they don't do that, they will start using the Google search, and Google will still have the search dominance using Google platform. That's the way I'm looking at it. I am also invested in Google, and I'm going to continue staying in Google, and probably I'll dollar cost average into it today. That's my approach for Google. Now, next, looking at I think I would go to Amazon. My mind got caught up a little bit. I think I was going to tell you the resistances and support, which I did not do. So I'm coming back to Google. I think we have a strong resistance for Google somewhere in the region of 157, give or take 50 to 60 cents, because there is a horizontal line and the diagonal line. Both of them are intersecting. So that will be a strong challenge. But once that challenge is overcome, I think we'll start moving up again for Google. And we also have a huge support from this diagonal line of support at the bottom. At the risk of making this a very messy chart, I'm just drawing this line of support. I'm going to draw this support out here. So we have this support going on out here. Unfortunately, it seems that support is also becoming a resistance. So I take my words back. I think that Google has a big challenge out here. I may personally feel that it's a big deal, but the technicals say that Google is going to come back down here. So I'm going to have a support for 152.29 for Google out here. And today it's going to be very challenging for Google to break through. But if it did break through, then everything I said is probably the way the market is looking at it. And the technicals will lend themselves to become a huge support out here because we would have crossed this. Now let's look at Amazon. Amazon is up 0.34%. Our support is going to be at 191.77, which was earlier a resistance. That becomes a support, and our resistance is going to be 195.80. MACD is looking good. Momentum is also looking good. So things are looking good for Amazon. Apple is up 0.38%. And that means that our support is continuing to be 192.25, and our resistance at 199.16 remains for today. And if we break through above this, then a minor resistance at 203.47 will click in. Then we have Microsoft. Microsoft is up 0.20% today in pre-market trades, and that takes us to a resistance of 448.10 for today, and a minor line of support at 436.82 for today. Then we go on to Tesla. Tesla is up 1.18% in pre-market trades. Our support continues to be 268.93, and our resistance is 292.21, which is a minor line of resistance. That's going to be the resistance for today. If we break through that, then the next resistance is 299.49. MACD is kind of moving towards the signal line to cross over to the bearish side. And there's a lot of headwinds for Tesla from the point of view of what's happening with the loss of market in Europe, and also the potential China talks. What happens out there is also a big deal for Tesla because they have a gigafactory in China, and they were expecting to produce at low cost and export it to other countries from there. And the domestic market in China is also a big EV market. So China is a kind of problem for Tesla. We'll see what happens out there. But I am thinking that Tesla is likely to be range bound. Oracle is up 0.33%, and our minor line of resistance at 150.82 is going to be challenged today, and most probably I think we are going to overcome this resistance for Oracle today, and this might become a support. However, the resistance continues to be 157.61, and the ultimate support continues to be 145.54 for today. Then we look at AMD. AMD is up 0.64% in pre-market trade. we have a minor line of resistance at 103.17 that will continue to be a resistance for today, and our support for today is going to be 96.33. I'm thinking that AMD is likely to give up a little bit more because we need to see some positive news for AMD compared to what we have from NVDA, which is going to modify its H20 chips, so H200 chips, so that it can be used for China and it will not be caught by the regulation. So that positive from AMD, from NVIDIA has to be countered by AMD for it to continue its bullish trend. So I'm thinking that even though MACD is bullish and momentum is moving up, from a fundamental perspective, AMD should not be as bullish, but it has been beaten down a lot. That's another factor that could help it to potentially overcome this minor line of support. And if it does that, then I would put another minor line of support out here. And this would be somewhere around 114.56. This is the orange line that I put out here. SMCI is up 0.65% in pre-market trade. Support continues to be 31.17 and resistance continues to be 34.92. AVGO is up 0.95% in pre-market trade. Our support continues to be at 197.65 and resistance continues to be 219.12. Palantir, I made a lot of money on Palantir yesterday. I was really thrilled and happy about that, but I got out of it and I left around $2 per share on Palantir that I could have made, but I thought it was prudent to move out. But Palantir, I think, still has got the opportunity to go all the way up to the resistance of 124.62. So I might be looking at Palantir again today. MACD is moved towards the signal line, ready to cross over, but it's moving in parallel. Momentum still has the ability to move up. So after the session is over, I might go up and buy a little bit of PLTU and hope for it to cross the little bit of range that is left out here, because it's also backed by this price target of 126.10. So I'm going to move and check that out and I'll let you know what happens after that. But SMH is up 0.86%. Support continues to be 219.30. Resistance continues to be 233.24 for today. MACD is bullish. Momentum is also above average. Tempus AI is again beautiful. It's up 1.52% in pre-market trades. Support continues to be 64.22. And if I was to look at a minor line of resistance, I would say that I would peg a minor line of resistance somewhere out here. And this would be a minor line of resistance. And it's going to be at 76.79 for today. So that, my friends, there is one more line where we can see that this is another area where I would think that Tempus AI could probably stumble. It's 67.96 for today. And the COO of Tempus AI, Ryan Fukushima, has sold around 20,000 shares. That's what I have as a piece of news. They had good earnings, and I think that's another thing you have to keep in mind. Tempus AI COO Ryan Fukushima sells 20,000 shares. So that could also have a little bit of impact on the market. But with that said, I think I'm at the end of this video. I'll just take you briefly to 3 shares that I'm holding, which are red, which are kind of moving upwards. And one of them is AV. It has broken through this flag pattern. I would say it's a consolidation pattern. I wouldn't say it's bull flag, because bull flag generally goes downwards and then picks up. But I would take whatever I get. I'll just put a target out there for 235.37. It's a wishful thinking. I have assumed this to be a bull flag, which it is not, but I put it there. And if everything goes well, we are supposed to move 235.58 according to that theory. We have broken out of this diagonal line of resistance of this bull channel. So I'm thinking either would create a new bull channel, but overall, AV is bullish, and with global conflicts going on, they could snag a deal here and there. And I think unmanned aerial vehicles are being used more in battle. India-Pakistan battle also had a whole lot of that. So I think AV will get some traction. Next, I want to show you what's happening with the other 2 bets I had, which didn't do very well. One of them was RGTI, Rigetti. Whereas Rigetti, it's out here. Rigetti has broken out of this horizontal line of resistance for the first time after a few days. And I'm hoping that it continues to move up, but we have a negative 0.58 this morning, and earnings are coming up soon on 12th of May. So I'm hoping that I get some catalyst out there. The other one was SMR. Canada is building a small nuclear reactor. They have just given the approval, and I think Google is also putting money into more reactors. So I don't know why SMR is not getting more traction. They're already building a reactor in Eastern Europe. It's up 1.12% in pre-market trades, but it still has this diagonal line of resistance, which is going to hold it back. And we have some kind of a bullish movement out here because we have higher lows, but I'm looking for more higher highs to happen so that I can say that it's a bull channel. So right now I'm going to move this down here and convert this into a bull channel. And I would say that as long as we stay above this diagonal line of support, we are okay. It may take a little longer, but potentially we'll be good. The one thing that I want improved is for the MACD to improve and the momentum to improve. And because I'm so heavily invested in SMR, my psychology is making me see patterns which do not exist. So this is where we are with SMR and RGTI. I think these two are going to be my albatross on my neck for this year. So that said, I would like to bring this live stream to an end, and I want to look at the chat section and see if we have something out here. Hot Dog says that he's going to take profits on Tempus AI this week. I think that would be a good decision. Good luck to you, Hot Dog. And with that, my friends, I'd like to end this video here today. In the live stream, I tend to do everything on the fly, so I'm a bit hesitant here and there. But going forward, I'm thinking that I would like to make it strictly to resistance and support levels and stick to that narrative and get it over first, and then go back to some stocks where I saw some potential of something to talk about. With that, my friends, I'd like to end this video here. Thanks and have a great day. Bye for now.